Hello, and welcome to the first episode of The Ring's Edge. My name is Sarah, and I am your host. Wrestling has been a passion of mine since 2006. I grew up going to wrestling shows, but didn't really get passionate about it until then. My earliest memory is going to a show with my dad at a local Jaffa shrine. We were sitting near the entrance ramp where the wrestlers passed by you on the way to the ring or on the way back to the locker room. This particular night was kind of brutal to the point of where the wrestlers were bleeding at the end of the match. After the match, the wrestlers were making their way to the back where I had my hand stretched out, wanting a high five. I can't remember the wrestler's name for the life of me, but as he walked by my dad and I, he wiped his brow and flung blood onto us. Now, this was back before the internet and before blood capsules and blading were a thing. It was so awesome, and I was on cloud 9. Since 2006, I have tried to watch WWE religiously. The only reason I remember that year is because it was my freshman year of high school. I've been to countless local shows. The neighboring town had a local promotion a while back called KCW, or also known as Keystone Championship Wrestling. I got close to some of the wrestlers and even bought some of their merchandise, which I still have to this day. I've gone to State College, which is about an hour from where I live, to go see WWE shows, and I've even been to Pittsburgh. Usually, when you ask a wrestling fan who their favorite wrestler is, you normally hear of the names of Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage, Andre the Giant, Ultimate Warrior, etc. While all of those wrestlers are great, and still are, in their primes, they were awesome wrestlers, none of them are my favorites. You may be asking yourself, then who is your favorite? Well, I'm about to give you your answer. My favorite wrestler of all time is the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. Why, you may be asking yourself? Why would I like someone who was a college dropout and begged his parents to go to wrestling tryouts? Why would I like someone who was a drunk and a junkie and took pills? Why would I like someone who was rude backstage to other wrestlers when he was breaking out into the business? I have followed his career and have read his book numerous times. I also loved his long hair. Now, obviously, he has since now cut it. And even before I was married, I was and still am attracted to him. Don't ask me why. I just like older guys, I guess. I think my biggest reason for liking him, though, is the way he turned his life around after drugs and alcohol as a Christian. His story, his wife's persistence yet caring nature, his love for Christ and his family. I could go on as to all the things I like about him. But we'll save that for another episode. Other wrestlers I've enjoyed over the years are John Cena, Becky Lynch, The Shield, Lita, and Edge, just to name a few. Do you know that feeling of butterflies in your stomach when you're excited about something coming up and you can't wait for it to happen? Do you know that feeling you get when you meet the celebrity that you've always wanted to meet? Or how about the feeling after you pass that test or exam that you've been dreading all semester? That feeling, that exact feeling in your stomach, is what I feel when I go to wrestling shows or watch it on TV. I experienced my first, and as of today, my only pay-per-view back in December of 2016. The tickets to that show were a part of my Christmas gift from my dad. I paid for some of it, he paid for some of it. Even though my seat wasn't the greatest, it was still so much fun. I would give almost anything to go back to another pay-per-view. That was so much fun. Over the years, I have met numerous superstars. I've met Billy Gunn. I've met Chris Jericho. I've met Damien Sandow. Now, if you remember, he was Damien Mizdow or whatever when he was supposed to be Miz's stunt double. I don't know if you remember that back that far. James Ellsworth. I've even had the chance to meet the Hardy Boys. They came to my local town. I got to meet them. I have pictures of me and Jeff together. I've met Mickey James. I've met Raven. I've met Sabu, which he's an old-time ECW wrestler. ECW no longer exists to this day. I've met Tonka. I've met Sandman. I've met Tommy Dreamer. I've met Virgil. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, ring a bell? I've met him. He's pretty cool in person. I've met Jeff Jarrett and his wife Karen. I've met Kevin Nash. I've even met Sting. That was awesome. I've met Lex Luger, and I've also met the Bushwhackers. Those are just all I can remember at this point. I've probably met more and just happened to forget at this moment. You want to hear a funny story though? And I think this is pretty cool, but it's also really funny how it happened. Two of my friends and I went to Pittsburgh for a show. I believe it was for a Monday Night Raw show. We got there early because we do live 2.5 hours away from Pittsburgh. We figured we would go to Subway and grab some food before the show. Because, you know, everything in the arenas are expensive. As we were sitting there eating, Chris Jericho walks into the store to get food also before the show. He was so gracious to take a picture with my friend and I. Now, you have to remember, at this time, Chris Jericho was playing a heel. So he was a bad guy on TV. So it was even more special and exciting that he took a picture with us and didn't shun us away, you know, because sometimes if you're a heel, you don't want to, you know, meet people. Usually that's a baby face who is a good person. Let's talk about where this podcast is about and where it's about to go. Of course it's about wrestling, because I love talking wrestling. I don't have extensive knowledge like most people do about wrestling, but I love talking about it. And I'm always reading articles about wrestling. I'm always reading articles about different wrestlers and different promotions that come out. I'm also friends with a few local wrestlers and promoters in my area that I would like to bring onto the show to talk wrestling and to talk those local shows. I am also hoping to have some of my friends who are also wrestling fans join me and discuss the current and past product. So if you're anything like a fan like me, I mean, let's talk, you know? I will also be covering the shows that happen during the week. We will break down the matches and build up to the pay-per-views. We can talk anything. I'm going to incorporate Monday Night Raw, NXT, AEW, SmackDown. We're going to talk it all. I'm hoping we can have really good discussions about the pay-per-views and about all the shows. I will go into more in depth about the shows on here than I will in my blog. Please make sure that you check us out on all of the social medias. Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and check out my blog at wrestlingfan06.weebly.com. That again is wrestlingfan06.weebly.com. And check us out on YouTube. If you would like to be a part of the show, you can hit me up on any of my social medias or email me at the Rings Edge, all one word, 06@gmail.com. That email address again is the Rings Edge 06@gmail.com. If you like what you're hearing, this will be more in depth over time. We'll discuss everything. We'll break it down. We'll talk rumors. We'll talk the shows. We'll talk the pay-per-views. I hope you come along with me on this journey, and I hope you love talking wrestling as much as I do, because I'm ready. Let's take it to the ring's edge.